Intimacy is not what we do in 5 nights. Intimacy is the state of your heart. Does God want us to sin? No. Is God happy when we sin? No. Is he encouraging us to sin? No. Where the power lies is in your consistency. If you can remain consistent and remain in this thing, do it consistently, repeatedly. Yeah, good evening, and it's a final night of prayers, final night of trying to build intimacy, not really trying to build intimacy, of trying to stir up ourselves to a point whereby building intimacy become natural and it flows through us. It becomes easy, because like I said, intimacy is not what we do in 5 nights. Intimacy is the state of your heart, whereby you are longing and yearning always to be with the Father, to commune with Him, just like God will come in the evening to be with Adam and Eve. That is His design for man. That is what His heart yearns for. When you get to a state whereby your heart becomes completely in sync with that, you now become one with the Father. You think like Him, you act like Him, because why? You are now known as the one that is always with the Father. And that is what we are trying to achieve in this edition of One Night One Encounter, whereby all of you that are participating at every point in time in your life, all that matters to you is just going to be God. You are going to work is because of God. You go to school is because of God. Every single thing is because of God. It's because of God you want to get that job. It's because of God you want to gain the admission. It's because of God you want to marry. It's because of God you want to give birth. It's because of proclaiming whatever He has told us in the scripture and advancing His kingdom. And then we've touched so many beautiful things, especially the past 2 days. And then on Wednesday we spoke about the things, very subtle things, but they are really, really very weighty things, and which I emphasized not too well, but to a large extent. And I said those that want more clarity can reach out. How your intimacy is not a function of your ability to live holy or live right. Some have taught us, or been taught, that sin breaks the fellowship with the Father. The ones that have gone a bit advanced, they'll tell you sin does not deny you your sonship, but it breaks fellowship. And then we give the ideology of your father and your mother. If you sin against your father, you are still his son, but for that moment you sinned against him, you've lost fellowship. Now that is so we now equate God from that lens. And I remember on Wednesday I emphasized that you don't judge God from the lens of your physical mentality, from the basis of your father or your mother's love, because humans don't have the capacity to love the way God can. And I shared some example and expanded so much. You need to go listen back to it if you've forgotten, or if you missed it, re-listen and listen very well, so you catch this thing and get it. Does God want us to sin? No. Is God happy when we sin? No. Is he encouraging us to sin? No. So if all these are no, then technically when you sin, God should be angry with you. Emphatic no. So what you don't understand is, man in his fallen states, we sin against God in per seconds billing. It is not until you are aware that you have sinned. According to God's standard, even in your ignorance, you are also sinning. And for what makes God, His morphology is such that it depicts sin, whether knowingly or unknowingly, whether ignorantly or non-ignorantly. Once it is sin, it is detested. So it is not until you sin that one that He knows that you now know you have sinned. Even before you sit down, you are living in perpetual sin. So those that are enjoying intimacy with the Father, thinking because they have not sinned, are only ignorant, because they don't know that in God's standard they've sinned, and that's why they can quickly judge that one that have committed a known sin. Maybe they lied, they stole, and the likes. But the point is this: God doesn't like sin, but He knows that man in his flesh, this is how you are built in the flesh. Now, when you give your life to Christ, you took your step above the flesh and started living in the Spirit. Would you make mistake in the flesh? Yes, definitely, until this body is dropped. But does it determine your fellowship? No. No. Your fellowship is determined on your frequency. And I'm going to share that, how to build this intimacy. That's what I'm going to share today with the Father, always coming to Him and dwelling in His presence. Because why? Is in that process that the capacity to live above sin is built. Nobody gets 6 packs by talking about 6 packs, thinking about 6 packs, preaching about 6 packs, singing about 6 packs. You get 6 packs by building, by going to the gym. But what happens to many of us is that we want to get 6 packs first before we get to the gym. Hey, thank you, Holy Ghost. This is fresh. This is fresh from source. I've been given an analysis with the gym for a very long time, but this one dropped. And that's the reality. The gym is where it gives you six packs. But how do you, just because the gym is known for six packs, and then when you enter the gym, everybody you see there all have six packs. Now you don't have six packs. You are now ashamed to come to the gym. You feel so unworthy to go to the gym. You feel as though the gym is not for you, and then you are rushing and running to Mr. Biggs, where people like you are. Sweet sensation with pot belly, and you see them, you shobby and all the like. So every time you're eating shawarma, eating all those things and running for the gym, but you know within you that this six packs is your desire. That's what so many of us do. So you keep running away from God, going to Satan, going to the devil. Now of course Mr. Biggs and Jesus and them are not the devil, but just this is for illustration before somebody picks this out of context and just cut one clip. But what happens is that we now run there because we've looked at the side of God and the standard, and that they've painted of us of God. Not really painted, because that is actually God's standard. God is holy, superficially holy. I can tell you, if I describe God's holiness for you, man, this short exhortation might extend to 20 or 30 minutes, because you need to know what Daniel saw that made him bow down. You need to see what Jeremiah, Isaiah, you see what John, these men, what they saw, that they bowed down. In fact, so some of them were just the angel from God's presence, not even God himself that they saw. They bowed down. The glory was just too much. You can't sight him, you can't look at him. He's more glorious than the sun. Try and look at the sun by 12. Oh la manna. When we say God is holy, he's so pure. He's so pure. So it's not a function of how they've painted it. He's exact. So when you look at that gym and you see the standard of people there with six packs, you look at yourself, you're like, no hope for you. And then you go back to Mr. Biggs and you're eating. No. The reason why the gym is there, even though it is built based on standard and there's a standard in it, the reason why it is built is not for only those of standard to come, is to make you that standard, because those of standard are coming, they are also coming from one gym. So it's a function of the gym. You have to go there to build that thing. So when you see yourself looking the way you don't want, you hit the gym, and you don't go there and leave. This is where intimacy comes. You go there and stay there consistently. Avatayana go shakata ratabaya katila vera doski brahandele ketimandoro kushaga vilano shakapapata. You avoid distractions like I shared yesterday. Please listen to yesterday's own again. Avoid those good distractions. These are good things. Now those that say, see, you don't build six packs by talking to people about the gym. Those things are distractions. They are good because you want to help others build six packs, right? So you go about street evangelism, telling them, oh, you need to go to the gym because you need six packs. Well, brother, where is your own six packs? So working for God is not equal to intimacy. And I expanded on that yesterday. Listen to yesterday's again if you missed it. But how do you build these six packs? You by hitting the gym consistently. You remain there. You stay there. You don't stop. You come the first day. It looks as though nothing happened. You see, I have so many people that have told me, I'll see on their status, so many of my friends, they'll say, I just registered in the gym. Oh, I just paid 10K for the next 1 month. Oh, it's a 6 journey program. You see some people, they take selfie where they did jogging for the first day, and then I remember asking one of them, she's on this platform. I said, this jogging you've gone. Oh, she knows herself. This jogging you've gone for your first day, hope it's not going to end in the first day or second day. She said, no, I've decided I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. She did the first day. You know the worst part, she went to buy her shoes, pure nice canvas, her jogging suit and all those things. See, and I thought that just because you bought all these things is not equal to your result, which is to slim down and the likes. What you will give you what you want is not the kind of Nike shoe you bought or the kind of jogging suit you bought. It is your actual doing the jogging. So it is not by going for 12 hours that makes you build intimacy with God. It's not by going for deep several times of maybe immersion, word session, prayer session, and then we just finish 6 hours. It is what you do in that 12 hours. Some people will go for 12 hours and they only pray for 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then the rest they are moping. You see, that is not building intimacy. But of course, I encourage you, keep going for the 12 hours, because if you can keep going consistently and you see others pray, it will spoil you and challenge you. But if it takes 2 years or 2 months or 3 months to spoil you to start doing like them, it is from that time you started that at least you start your own journey. But at least you're better than those that didn't go, because those that didn't go, there's no opportunity for them to be spoiled. So that just to clear that. You get just the same way those that are talking about the gym. If you're among those talking about gym for so long, you one day want to go and try out what they're doing. So, but just because you're among those talking about the gym doesn't mean you suddenly start having six packs. You must hit the gym yourself. So he's not buying like I told the lady, buying all those things. What will you do? She didn't last up to 1 week. She's tired. She's not jogging again. Because why? It appears as though it's not working. See, let me tell you, those that do push up, do 10 push up and do all those things, it might take from the 3rd week, 4th week, 1 month, 2 months before they start seeing those things. And they like, after like 6 months, they look at themselves, man, everywhere, muscles, 6 packs, like this wasn't who they were. That thing they are seeing in the 6th month didn't come in the 6th month. It started from the 1st month. But they eventually saw the effect after several months down the line. But from the first day they hit the gym, these things started happening. And my point to you is this final night is just these things we started this night. Just because it appears as though nothing have changed doesn't mean nothing have changed. Where the power lies is in your consistency. If you can remain consistent and remain in this thing, do it consistently, repeatedly, you every day you map out time to study the word, and you map out time to pray, and you build sacrilege around that time, and make it something that you don't miss for anything except when very, very necessary, and then you map out time again to compensate for the loss. But you are judicious and religious about it and follow it through, and you do it consistently. You will get to a point in your life that you will look back and you say, man, am I the one that is this? Have I gotten this far? Why? Because you've gotten to a point that when you miss out on your time of koinonia with the Father, it looks as though you are empty. It looks as though you are dry. It looks as though the whole heaven and earth is open unto you. Of course, God hasn't left you, but it's just a feeling, a consciousness that you have built upon yourself that you just can't do without this. At that point, you can be said to have built some level of intimacy, and it grows. Ayanabakai. I remember Papa Debo talking about his level of fellowship with the Father, and that he will just shut the room door and say, God will come down in himself. He said at some point it might be he will see John and he'll be discussing with John or Jeremiah one-on-one in his office, and if you'll be hearing him talking to somebody, but you will not know who he's talking to because you cannot hear the reply, but he's hearing it. That's another level. If you are not scared or if you are not angry, you have a problem. We need to grow. Church, we need to grow. Youths, we need to grow. Young men and women, we need to grow and strive for this level of intimacy, just as he has designed it from the creation of the world, just as he created it in the time of Adam and Eve, that he will come down himself in the evening to discuss with them, that we will build that intimacy, that at every single point in time he's going to be communing with us, because now he's inside of us. Anamakaya. Oh, Ranama Shekete. Go ahead and pray. This is your final night. Pray. That grace to build intimacy, that grace to sustain this level of intimacy with the Father, pray that God releases it upon you, and then remove every distractions. At the same time, also help you to hold firm to His word, to hold firm to prayers, and to be religious, to be consistent, to hold it daily and remain in that place. Oh, Yanama Shaka Bradekaya, Ranava Shikotaya Labakadele.